President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi reviews efforts to enhance Egypt's competitiveness in the field of communications and information technology and software. 398 trucks enter Al-Auja and Karam Abu Salim border crossings in preparation for their entry into the Gaza Strip. The cabinet approves 5 petroleum agreements with investments of about $225 million. You're watching the latest updates from Egypt on Qnews, and let's move on to the latest developments. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has reviewed the state's efforts to qualify and train calibers in the field of communications and information technology, CIT, and software to become a key pillar in the digitalization. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has met with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Communications and Information Technology Amr Talat, and Major General Ashraf Zahir, Director of the Egyptian Military Academy. Presidential spokesman Mohammed al-Shinnawi stated that the meeting also addressed the efforts to strengthen Egypt's competitive capabilities in this field and position it as one of the leading global destinations for investments from companies and digital services. A total of 398 trucks have entered the Al-Auja and Karam Abu Salim border crossings today in preparation for their entry to the Gaza Strip. According to Al Qnews, among them are 24 trucks carrying fuel supplies. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati has met with top Palestinian officials visiting Cairo. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati received Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa and Secretary General of Fatah's Central Committee Jibril Rajoub. During the meeting with Mustafa, Abdelati emphasized Egypt's stance in supporting the Palestinian people. Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar has confirmed the ongoing provision of necessary medical care for Palestinians coming from the Gaza Strip. During the weekly cabinet meeting, the Minister of Health stated that since the beginning of the crisis, Egypt has received over 103,000 cases. He added that among the received cases were 12,300 children for whom the necessary medical care was provided, including 16,300 vaccination doses against polio, measles, rubella, and mumps. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati held talks with his Indian counterpart to enhance bilateral cooperation between the two countries in all areas of mutual interest. Minister Abdelati reviewed the key areas of joint cooperation that have seen significant growth in recent times, particularly in telecommunications and information technology, pharmaceutical industries, and renewable energy. He expressed Egypt's appreciation for the recent surge in cooperation and its hope to maintain the same momentum moving forward. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Abu Bakr Hifni has delivered a message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to President of Cameroon Paul Biya, which emphasized the deep-rooted relations between the two sisterly countries and expressed a desire to further enhance cooperation in all fields. Discussions between the two sides touched on ongoing preparations for holding the Egyptian Cameroonian Business Forum. Viewpoints were exchanged regarding regional and international issues of mutual interest, with the Cameroonian side expressing appreciation for Egypt's active role as regards various regional and international issues, particularly the crises facing the African continent. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli announced that Egypt aims to produce more than 5 million cubic meters of desalinated seawater daily. During the weekly press conference, Madbouli highlighted that the government is keen to increase support across various sectors in the new budget, with a particular focus on education and healthcare as top priorities. Egypt has revealed that the government is preparing to introduce two key initiatives aiming to promote the adoption of natural gas in cars and buses, as well as to encourage the adoption of electric vehicles across the market. Finance Minister Ahmed Kuchuk announced that these efforts are aimed at encouraging greener, cost-effective solutions for sustainable economic growth. The initiative, backed by a public awareness campaign, is supported by a task force from the Ministries of Finance and Petroleum. A key part of the plan includes converting 1.5 million vehicles to compressed natural gas. Meanwhile, the cabinet has approved 5 petroleum commitment agreements between the Egyptian General Petroleum Corporation, the Egyptian Natural Gas Holding Company, the South Valley Egyptian Holding Petroleum Company, and several global companies. The minimum investment for these agreements is estimated at around $225.3 million, with a minimum of 40 wells to be drilled in the field of gas and crude oil exploration and exploitation in the Merneth offshore area in the Mediterranean Sea, as well as in the exploration and exploitation of oil in several other areas. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli confirmed that during the weekly cabinet meeting, he discussed a package to increase salaries in the upcoming fiscal year, which will be presented to the president. In the weekly press conference, the Prime Minister emphasized that ensuring citizens' needs during the month of Ramadan is a top priority, and the government is closely monitoring the availability of goods and price regulations throughout the day. Egypt has signed an agreement with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development to establish the Egypt account, providing €10 million to boost public-private sector partnerships in future initiatives. Prime Minister Madbouli confirmed that the memorandum seeks to establish a general framework for the technical support provided by the bank to the Egyptian government. This support will focus on institutional development, capacity building for all relevant parties, as well as providing technical assistance for the implementation and preparation of public-private partnership projects. The World Bank Group has prepared for the second phase of its budget support program for Egypt, which is set to be completed this year. This follows the successful disbursement of the first phase, valued at €500 million in mid-2024. The program is part of a broader $6 billion support initiative announced in March 2024, aimed at boosting Egypt's economic stability and private sector engagement, with the total value of ongoing projects in Egypt ranging between $6 and $7 billion. The World Bank remains a key partner in supporting the country's economic transformation. Minister of Planning Rania Al-Mashat has met with Aliou Maiga, Director of the Financial Institutions Group for Africa at the International Finance Corporation, to discuss the latest developments regarding IFC's work programs, as well as activities in the financial and capital markets in Egypt. During the meeting, Al-Mashat emphasized the deep and fruitful strategic relations with the Financial Institutions Group for Africa, highlighting that this close partnership has contributed to provide providing financing and investments for the private sector, amounting to nearly $9 billion. She pointed out that Egypt is one of the largest operations countries for the IFC among 100 countries worldwide. Egypt has signed a €1.4 million development grant agreement with Spain to fund the preliminary feasibility study for the extension of Cairo Metro Line 1. The initiative is part of Egypt's sustainable transport projects under the NWFE National Platform, aimed at enhancing eco-friendly and efficient urban mobility. The agreement was signed by Rania Al-Mashot, Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation, and Eduardo Soriano, Spain's Economic and Commercial Counselor in Egypt. In addition to the extension of Cairo Metro Line 1, ongoing initiatives include the electrification of Alexandria's Abu Qir Railway, which will be transformed into a modern metro system to enhance urban connectivity. Minister of Agriculture Ala Farouk has confirmed that Egypt's fresh agricultural exports reached an unprecedented figure, surpassing 8.6 million tons, with total fresh and processed exports exceeding $10.6 billion, marking an increase of nearly 17% compared to the previous year. During the opening of the Berlin International Fruit and Vegetable Trade Fair, Fruit Logistica 2025, Farouk praised the outstanding quality of Egyptian products, which are now penetrating most global markets and seeing increased demand from all countries. He also commended the active participation of Egyptian exporters and their continuous efforts to be present at one of the most important international agricultural product exhibitions, where they have a significant opportunity to promote their products. Egypt's net foreign exchange reserves has increased by about $154 million during January compared to December. Net international reserves rose to $47.265 billion at the end of January 2025, up from $47.109 billion in December. Over the past 11 months, following exchange rate liberalization, foreign exchange reserves increased by approximately $11.8 billion, driven by the Ras Al Hikma deal with the United Arab Emirates, worth $35 billion. Egypt is set to receive the Turkish Floating Storage and Regasification Unit, known as FSRU, BOTAS in June, which will supply the local market with up to 500 million cubic feet of natural gas per day. This initiative aims to enhance electricity generation capacity during the peak summer months. The agreement between Egypt and Turkey stipulates that the Turkish vessel will receive shipments of liquefied natural gas, convert it into natural gas, and supply it to Egypt from June to November. Confederation of African Football has announced the dates for the draw of the CAF Champions League quarterfinals. Egyptian clubs Al Ahly and Pyramids representing Egypt after advancing to the quarterfinals. CAF has scheduled the first leg matches of the quarterfinals to take place on April the 1st and the 2nd, with the return leg matches set for April 8th and 9th of the same month. The Confederation of African Football CAF has announced the dates for the quarterfinal matches in both the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup, with Zamalek and Al Masri SC representing Egypt. According to the schedule set by CAF, the first leg and return leg matches of the CAF Confederation Cup quarterfinals will be held on April the 2nd and the 9th, respectively. According to the Egyptian Meteorological Authority, EMA, Egypt is set to be affected by a 2-day wave of unstable weather conditions starting today. The moderately cold weather is also expected to prevail in Cairo, Lower Egypt, North Coast during the daylight hours. Warm weather is also expected to hit North Upper Egypt, while South Sinai to face moderately warm weather and South Upper Egypt to experience warm conditions. Winds will be active across the country. Meteorologists also predict that the country will experience a decline in temperature by 2 to 3 degrees. And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here is what we have been covering. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi reviews efforts to enhance Egypt's competitiveness in the field of communications and information technology and software. 309 air trucks enter Al Auja and Karam Abu Salim border crossings in preparation for their entry into the Gaza Strip. The cabinet approves 5 petroleum agreements with investments of about $225.3 million. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest developments. I'm Hala Al-Hamalawi. Many thanks for watching.